lands. We recognize this traditional territory to show respect and understanding to those who have walked this land since time immemorial. Today, we uphold our ongoing responsibility to work together in the spirit and the intent of the treaties with the First Peoples and nations that call this place home. The town expresses gratitude for the opportunity to build a better community on these sacred lands for generations to come. And if I could, I'd just like to take 30 seconds, and there gets to be a, a a time in life where legacy gets to be important. And God damn it. Our friend Bill McDonald felt that and decided that he wanted to make a difference. On council, he supported the same things he did publicly. Fairness, kids playing sports, the rec center, the services it provides, and small businesses, particularly if you were a valley business owner. There's pieces of what Bill was looking for in our strategic plan. I'm just sad that he didn't have more time. I'm sad to lose his offbeat but well-informed position. My condolences to council, the community, his friends, and particularly Suzanne and the boys to the end. He acted with humility, good humor, and with the community focus. And on that happy note, I call the regular meeting of May 5th to order. All right. I'll just take 2 seconds to get my proverbial poop in the group here. All right, council. We need to adopt the agenda. How do you want to deal with that? Thank you. Councillor Nelson.
I think if there's nothing to change, I'd like to move that council adopt the regular council agenda for May 5th, 2026.
All right, council, we have a motion on the floor. Please vote. I knew that was going to be super easy, so thank you for bearing with me through that. Okay, council, next order of business is minutes for adoption. Councillor Chambers.
Make a motion that we accept.
That's right. Go.
I'd like to make the motion that council adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting of April 21st, 2026, and the committee of the whole meeting for April 28th, 2026 as presented.
Thank you, council. We have a motion on the floor. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. In a minute with council, we have something tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have Jason Moslem from the Men's Shed this evening.
Okay, Jason, you've got roughly 3 minutes. Be succinct and tell us what you're doing with the with your project. Oop.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Hang on 1 second. There you go. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor LaBerge, councillors. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you about the Hinton Men's Shed. My name is Jason Maudsley. I'm the chairman and founder of the Hinton Men's Shed. Bottom line up front, the Hinton Men's Shed needs a building or space within a building that is approximately 40 by 40 with zoning that would enable creating a woodworking shop for social gathering and for the members of the Men's Shed. This space needs to be provided at low or no cost to enable the success and longevity of the shed. We are seeking your support to assist us in establishing partnerships which align with supporting men's mental health and well-being. An ideal partnership would be the Evergreen Foundation, providing a space within or close to the Pine Valley Lodge, being mutually beneficial to the men that reside there, as well as the members of the Men's Shed. The Hinton Men's Shed is a nonprofit society that exists to create a safe, inclusive, and supportive environment where men of all ages and backgrounds can gather to connect, share skills, find purpose through practical projects, activities, and meaningful conversation. We have approximately 30 members, with roughly 6 to 12 attending our social visits. Other activities include cooking classes at the Legion, a hiking group will be starting soon, and we have a blacksmith session in July to make barbecue tool sets. Our objectives are to reduce social isolation, foster mental and physical well-being, support skill sharing and lifelong learning, encourage community participation, and promote respect and camaraderie among all members. Currently, we have no space of our own. Thus, our activities are centered around social gatherings that are low cost. However, we need a space for woodworking and other similar activities. Again, this space needs to be very low cost to enable our success. Otherwise, we risk creating a stressful environment where the members are constantly worried about paying next month's bills instead of a rich, welcoming environment where they can relax and focus on sharing and self-healing. Why are men's sheds important? The positive impacts of men's sheds are contagiously broad throughout the entire community. Each kind act of sharing and being there for each other directly benefits the individuals involved, indirectly benefits their partners and families, and extends broadly within the community. Men's sheds offer a safe, welcoming environment where individuals can either simply engage with others working on a project or to share what's bothering them. Perhaps they're struggling with life's transitions, such as moving to a new community, retirement or changes of employment, medical conditions, or loss of a loved one. When they do open up, this usually sparks empathetic conversations with others reflecting how they've experienced and similar circumstances. To conclude, summarize, the success of the Men's Shed for Hinton will be mutually beneficial to our members and the entire community. As such, we need your support to be successful.
Thank you. Any questions, council? Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And now I think we have a bit more of a formal presentation. We are going to have our friends from Travel Alberta. No? Tourism and Sports. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erin Rooney. I am a senior manager with the Ministry of Tourism and Sport, and more specifically with the All Season Resorts branch. I'll just introduce my colleagues who are here today: Christopher Smith from Travel Alberta and Bridget Pillar, who's on the All Season Resorts team as well. I'm pretty scared to see that timer come up, but we'll go as fast as we can, and hopefully there's a chance to for you to ask some questions if you have some, or it might spur some additional conversation that we're happy to follow up on later. So just want to spend 10 minutes or so talking about tourism sector strategies and opportunities through the lens of the work that we're doing here with the Ministry of Tourism and Sport. And again, kind of through the lens of this pretty new program called All Season Resorts. So just from a high level, kind of setting the scene about the tourism strategy that we have here in the province. So the Higher Ground Tourism Strategy introduced in 2024. comprised of 5 key pillars and leadership and alignment, competitive products, people and careers, expanding access, and Indigenous tourism. All of those looking to work towards a goal of growing our tourism sector to 25 billion visitor spend by 2035. This is a little bit more kind of removing the curtain, I guess, about, you know, some of the drivers for this and I guess where some of the opportunities are. So in 2024, Albertans spent over $1 billion more in BC than what BC folks spent here in Alberta, which suggests that there might be some other opportunities there that we didn't have here. And the overall tourism expenditures in BC being about 9 billion more than Alberta. And while we are closing that gap, you know, there is still a lot of other ways that we need to take some steps in order to close that further and provide more opportunities here. And where some of those opportunities exist also in tourism are providing long-term careers, looking at the opportunities for, as I said, with all season resorts, you know, less seasonality and more year-round opportunities. Folks self-identifying in the tourism sector instead of perhaps saying, I'm an engineer, I'm a geologist, whatever, but you're actually part of the tourism sector. You know, so working towards better identification and kind of capturing those statistics in order to help us tell the story and drive other opportunities here in the province with respectable, professional, career growth jobs. Just speaking again to the idea of land management. So, you know, the planning umbrellas here in the province, we have regional plans, sub-regional plans, integrated resource plans, land use policies. So that kind of broader filter into something more detailed. The province, and it's not led by our ministry, but in the province right now, there is a push to move forward sub-regional plans over the next couple of years. And so I know the Burland is underway. And now that my brain is trying to think of coal what? What's the other word? Coal Branch. Yes, thank you. The Coal Branch plan is supposed to be getting initiated here this fall, is my understanding. So, you know, the opportunities to kind of get involved with that and help structure or contribute or be part of the stakeholder engagement process as it relates to drafting those plans. Because there is a, you know, a requirement to align with them in other planning processes. And you're probably familiar with the Upper Smoky Subregional Plan, which was just finalized, and kind of the process of that and the integration, as we feel anyways, from the tourism lens of integrating more language and opportunities as it relates to development of recreation and tourism. So then speaking to the All Season Resorts branch and kind of the work that we've been tasked with here over the past year is, I'll go back to that slide that identified in the Higher Ground Tourism Strategy. All Season Resorts was identified as that competitive product. So also identifying that over $1 billion that goes from Alberta into BC, and looking to close that gap, and the identification of an all-season resorts legislation to help support some of that work and closing some of that gap. So the understanding that Alberta needs more premium tourism experiences, accommodations, and attractions that showcase the beauty that we all know and love and want to continue to respect. So where we see the opportunities includes providing more options to our national parks, attracting high-yield visitors who will spend more and stay longer, increasing recreational opportunities in our own backyard, and all of that grounded in the foundation of a world-class regulatory system that enables opportunity and ensures protection of what Albertans value. The All Season Resorts Act is only applicable on public crown lands. And so, you know, there are a lot of opportunities in this vicinity. We, of course, also have to align with the Alberta Land Stewardship Act and those other regional, sub-regional planning documents as well. So the All Season Resorts was established with the All Season Resorts Act that was passed in 2024, which identified and created a new regulator. We have since then built out the regulations around that legislation. We've built a policy, of which I have some copies here today if anybody is interested, as well as additional tools that are either kind of in progress or have already been developed, including designation policy, proponent guide, and various ministerial orders, which includes details on things like the fee structure that would be involved with all season resorts. I'll just take it back a step. So we are creating as a new regulator on Crown lands, we would be designating lands as an all-season resort area, which is a type of public land. So we would then be, and I'll go to this kind of as a little bit more of a detail, but the government moves forward, makes a decision, establishes reviews land compatibility, and does various engagements and evaluations of land in order to identify an all-season resort area, which is a decision of government. At that point in time, once an area is designated that way, we can then open up either an expression of interest, or it could involve talking with existing leaseholders on that land to work with them to make an application for an ASR disposition or a lease. And that is a 99-year lease on that land. We then work with them to submit their application, which includes a master development plan and environmental assessment. And they go through the process also of, we'll speak about it more, Indigenous consultation, public notice, public engagement. And then as the regulator, we're able to make a decision and decide on that issuing of a disposition under the Public Lands Act, but we're also able to make decisions under the Water Act and the Environmental Protection and Enhancement Act, which is similar in nature to the Alberta Energy Regulator as far as being a one-window streamlined regulator. And then we are responsible for the land management of those identified parcels in perpetuity, so through construction, operations, reclamation, et cetera. How will the environment be considered? So through the same processes that all land management currently follows, we follow those same processes. So requiring environmental assessments. Our regulatory review includes referrals from subject matter experts across the province, requiring environmental surveys, environmental monitoring to ensure compliance. How will the municipal process be engaged? So that's why we came here today, is to not to plant any specific seeds, but just to kind of bring this program forward to let you know a little bit more. I'm sure you may have heard kind of grumblings of it and may have some thoughts of your own, but this is kind of the way that we would want to start a conversation and move forward with any type of collaboration as it might exist, to again kind of make sure that we're having if we move forward with anything, it is compatible with the land, it is compatible with the communities in which it would exist. As far as Indigenous engagement, there are two different steps in the process where Indigenous consultation is required. So at the phase of land designation as an ASR, the government would be moving through that process. And then as an application is submitted, the proponent would be required also to do Indigenous consultation. However, beyond that, we're also looking to support, encourage, and facilitate opportunities for Indigenous partnerships, for Indigenous economic opportunities as well. And then with the public, so there's a commitment at the application stage for public engagement, and then an actual formal notice period, which is a bit unique to the process of requiring that formal notice period for feedback, under which the regulator would incorporate that into their review of a decision. The first all-season resort areas have been designated in the province, and those are based on existing operations, existing sites in southern Alberta. So in the Kananaskis region, west of Calgary, we have the Nikiska area and Fortress, and then further south down in the Crow's Nest, we have the Castle region. And so far, those have only been designated by the province. They're undergoing current operations, and so we're now working with them on managing those. Fortress is the only site that has actually formally applied for a disposition and is currently under the regulatory review process. Just looking at what the economic impact possibilities are, and this is kind of the subtext there is based on 3 brownfield and 8 potential greenfield resorts, is, you know, the affiliated both capital investment of these and then the tourism revenue, job opportunities, and tax revenue as estimated and built out by our team at Travel Alberta. What is next for all season resorts? So our premier mandate letter made it clear that we were to be looking at all season resorts in the Crow's Nest, Kananaskis, David Thompson, Grand Cache region. But we believe that if you're going to put Grand Cache on the map, then it would be short-sighted not to be kind of connecting that in through this corridor as well. So again, while we don't have anything firm or even not firm, but we just wanted to start by kind of opening the conversation, letting you know that we're curious. We'd love to learn. We'd love to get more feedback. And we've been working again with our colleagues here in this area to get some understanding of possibilities, but just wanted to kind of bring that forward and then see if you have any questions. This is also my joke where I say this is me on a mountain bike, and I think this is actually taken at the bike park here, but it's not actually me because I don't get that much air. But anyways, if anybody has any questions, happy to answer them or happy to follow up later.
Councillor Dunn.
Yes. Aaron, when you said the Coal Branch brand, can you expand on that, please?
So I'll just go back to the land use planning process. So the government, the government has given clear direction to move forward with the development of sub-regional plans. So currently, I believe that there is the Coal Branch Integrated Resource Plan, but there hasn't been a sub-regional plan done for the area. And so across the whole province, they have been direction has been given to develop these sub-regional plans to identify and integrate how different industries, land uses, community plans are integrated into the landscape as a planning tool for moving forward. So that should be getting started and is led by the Ministry of Environment and Protected Areas, and it should be starting here this fall. And Berlin is already underway, which is just to the north.
Thank you.
Councillor Charlton.
Yes, thank you for that, Aaron. The question that I have is for the designations that you have in place, say for Southern Alberta, what is the process or who chooses those areas and why?
Yeah, so these first 3 sites were part of the cabinet package under the development of the All Season Resorts Act originally. So because they were existing ski hill operations, and I guess also understanding that our neighbors to the west in BC have had an all season resorts policy for decades, and identifying that, you know, most of them have been predicated around ski hills, and that these 3 sites have been trying to move forward with progress on all season resorts opportunities for quite a while. So they were kind of packaged up as part of the direction when the All Season Resorts Act was brought forward.
Thank you.
Councillor Nelson.
Thank you. And if this question isn't really for you, feel free to pass.
Sure.
Now
Pass.
that we're a month,
Kidding.
I haven't even asked it yet. Oh boy. Now that we're kind of a month into the new increase to the tourism levy,
Yeah.
there may be impacts to our DMO and its members and their desire to maybe leave a DMO so they don't have to continue increasing the amount charged to their visitors. Has there been much impact or thought yet of how that increase may impact some of the product development locally?
pass. Pass, and only because Miranda, our team on tourism policy and strategy, are the ones that have not been leading the tourism levy, but they've also been leading the development of legislation around the tourism protection development. There's another D in there, that has to do with a requirement of funds that are coming in under a levy. And if Christopher, if you have more to add to this, but making sure that those are getting directed to the local DMOs. So I think there's more to this ecosystem with the question that you're asking that has to do with this TPDD as well. So I'd love to be able to follow up in more detail to answer that question.
If I can add a bit of additional context, while I'm not able to speak to,
Maybe come up to the mic. Good.
I just always assume
You're-
everybody can hear me.
We can, but the people online
Yeah,
might not be able
online.
to.
While I'm not able to speak directly to the increase in the tourism levy, I just wanna touch on the question around product development, if I may. Travel Alberta continues and will remain committed to working with those businesses in our priority tourism destination zones. The Northern Rockies in this area is one. So we remain committed, and I remain that committed resource to work with those individual businesses where we have opportunity to continue to enhance and to expand product experiences.
Sounds good.
So
Yeah,
that I appreciate that maybe that answers part of your question, Councillor.
yeah, I think just uncertainty within that group of kind of where things might be going, and some challenges around it going into general revenues, and that I don't believe there's anything that specifically says it shall be filtered back into tourism. So I think it's early, and kind of follow along and see where it goes. But that was kind of the initial feedback is nervousness around charging people now the 2%, like the DMO fee, and now another 2% for the tourism levy. And just the challenges that brings when people look at their bill and see it's another thing on top of another thing. And if you get rid of one line, it might make those conversations at the desk when you're checking in a little bit easier. So.
And again, I'm only able to address my comments towards Travel Alberta's commitment through our tourism investment program to work with operators specifically.
Awesome.
On new product experiences.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for
Anyone else? Well, thanks so much for your time. I would entertain a motion to accept the report as information of the presentation. Councillor Charlton,
I'll make a motion to accept this report for information.
thank you very
Great.
much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Here.
Yeah. All right, so the vote just popped up. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you, council. All right, on to the first of our action items. The first thing we're going to deal with is the council action pending list, administration.
Thank you, Mayor. So this item is coming forward to council as a little bit of cleanup with the development of our strategic and our tactical plans. There was a number of items from our council action pending list, which is the list that tracks council motions. But there were quite a few of inconsistencies or some of the council action pending items that were a little bit duplicative of the tactical plan that was just recently endorsed by council. So we are bringing forward a number of different items with a recommendation to rescind those motions, and those can be found on attachment 1 that are highlighted in that attachment. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, council, we had a look at this at committee of the whole. How would you like to proceed? Councillor Chambers.
Thank you through the chair. I think we have, like you said, we've reviewed this a few times and it is in alignment with what we want to see going forward in our strategic plan. So I'd like to make the motion that council rescind motions MD 3210, MD 3584, MD 3796, MD 3798, MD 3799, MD 3800, MD 3801, MD 3831, MD 3830, MD 3826, MD 3825, MD 3824, MD 3802 from the council action pending list.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor. Any comments, thoughts? Councillor Nelson?
Yes, thank you. I'm absolutely in support of this. I've been really impressed with our council's desire to be on top of these things in almost every meeting, asking really specific questions about, where are we at with this? And I think it's very important that everything that's on this list is things that we are tracking, we are following up with, and simplifying it some, I think will go a long ways. I also think it's an opportunity for us to give stronger high level direction to administration and not have all of these really specific motions tied to a co-op and tied to a bigger co-op. Like some of these are so granular that they're not really at the level of council, which then makes it really hard for us to follow up with them. So I'm very happy with this and just very happy with the general flow with our council and our strat plan and where we're going with it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. No one in queue, then I'm going to call the question that council rescind that long list of motions that there's no reason for me to read again from the council action pending list. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you, council. All right. Our next action item is the sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1 and the sanitary sewer backup policy IN 3202. Administration.
Thank you, Mayor. And this one will go to Mr. McLaughlin.
Good afternoon, council. In front of you this afternoon is both of a proposed new water and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1, as well as sanitary sewer backup policy IN 3202. Council reviewed this topic back on March 24th at Committee of the Whole and provided administration direction. At that time, the existing bylaw and policies had some contradictions in them between the two and didn't flow together well. So we have redrafted these documents to remove those contradictions. The report analyzes the bulk of the changes, but we've also updated the documents to our newest templates as well to bring them more in line with the newer policies and bylaws that we've passed recently. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Council. Councilor Nelson.
I'll move that council give first reading to sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1 as presented.
All right, council. We have a motion on the floor. Seeing no one in queue, I call the question the council give first reading to the sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1 as presented. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. Council? Councilor Dunn.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that council give second reading to sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1.
All right, council, we have a motion on the floor. Seeing no one in queue, I call the question the council give second reading to sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1. Please vote. And that is passed unanimously. Thanks, council. What would you like to do next, ladies and gentlemen? Councillor Chambers.
I'd like to make a motion that council give unanimous consent to proceed to third reading of the sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1.
All right, and with no one in queue, we have a motion on the floor. The council give unanimous consent to proceed to the third reading of sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. One final step, council. Who's up? Councillor Nelson.
I'll move the council give third reading to sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1.
Thank you. And council, we have a motion on the floor that council give third reading to the sewer and wastewater bylaw number 2006-1. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you. And before we proceed, we have one more thing we need to attend to. Councillor Nelson.
I'll move that council approve the sanitary sewer backup policy IN-3202. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's a new one. Any thoughts, questions, comments? Seeing no one in queue, I call the question that council approve the sanitary sewer backup policy IN-3202. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thanks, everyone. All right, then we move on to the AB Muni resolution, balancing incentives between locums and non-locums. Administration.
Thank you, Mayor, through to the rest of council. So this Alberta Municipalities resolution is coming before you for a second time. We have had this conversation at Committee of the Whole. We have since run the resolutions through the Resolution Committee of Alberta Municipalities. They have provided us a number of changes that we have made and incorporated into the document. None were material or flagged here just because it was more around clarity or clarity around the intent. But I am here for if there's any questions on the resolution themselves, but we are looking for council to consider approving it today. And then we will go and look for a seconding municipality in support of this resolution. The deadline that we have to have those two items completed will be the end of the month at March 31st. Thank you.
I guess when I read it over, I don't particularly like the way it sort of picks a fight between locums and non-locums. We even call our own doctors non-locum doctors. And I would like to see us change that in the language of the document. And let's call them community-based physicians rather than locum and non-locum doctors. Locums are important to the operation of our health system here, and I just don't think we should be in the business of picking a fight with them through this resolution. Councillor Chambers.
Just for clarity then, so you would be only changing, you'd leave the word locum, but you would just change the non-locum to community
Correct.
physicians, just removing that non-locum word.
And I sent some wording changes through to Miss Davy Campbell as well. I don't know. It seems a bit like we're picking a fight with locums, and I don't think we should do that.
Yeah, I would support that. That makes sense.
Councillor Chambers.
I guess I would be making a motion to, because you can't amend it, to amend the it would be, yeah, the council would, I guess, approve that is it that I would just approve it as amended and then you guys know what the amendments are? So just read out the same motion. Okay. So I would like to make a motion that council approves the Alberta Municipalities Resolution on balancing incentives between locum and non-locum physicians, or do I say community there? To support family practice for the 2026 convention as amended.
Thank you for jumping up on that. Counselor Nelson.
Just for clarity, would that basically mean that anywhere within the document it's talking about non-locum physicians, it switches to community or community-based generalist care? Like there's a few different references of different verbiage within the document. I makes me nervous to have something amended without seeing the amended one when it's going out to every municipality in the province and the municipalities association. Like this is as far from an internal document as
Maybe it should come
have.
back once more. I think so.
Would you like me to put it up on the screen?
Before we go on though, since we have till the end of the month to do this, we would have time to look at those changes once more.
Through the mayor, yes, that's correct. I'm just going to confirm, but our next regular council meeting is going to be on the 19th. We have until the very end of the month. We can always look at obtaining a seconder in parallel. We don't need to pass it prior to going to find a seconder, so we can always continue on and get everything completed
Beautiful.
in a couple weeks' time.
Does that work? Counselor Chambers.
Can I cancel my motion? Okay. We're not approving it. So I would like to make a new motion. Do we accept it for information or?
Through the mayor to members of council, we can bring it up on the board. I don't think that any of the changes that I'm looking at right now are going to be material. So if council's okay with it, we could pull it up, and if council's
do it.
okay with those few changes, then we can continue on. And if there's further changes, we can refer this back to committee of the whole.
I'm trying to get to
So,
So,
Counselor Charlton.
Mayor Laberge, to your comment earlier about word community physicians, where do you reflect?
Well, the first one is community-based physicians. The second one is committed family
So we don't
physicians.
need to have that community followed through all the way? No, I just wanted to be clear. Okay, thank you.
Counselor Chambers.
So seeing this, I would be willing to have my original motion stand. That we would approve the Alberta Municipalities Resolution for balancing incentives between locum and non-locum physicians to support family practice for the 2026 convention as amended with the current wording on the screen.
Counselor Nelson.
I guess if we're kind of amending as we go, it still says non-locum in the title. The second whereas still has non-locum in it. I'm not sure, but like we've only looked at the top 2/3 of the page, so we still have a third of a page plus a second page to review. Because if we approve the motion right now, it's just what is written, correct?
Through the mayor, my understanding of the changes, certainly this, but anywhere that we refer to them as non-locums, we'll just refer to them as community-based physicians. So we would make sure that that change is consistent throughout the document.
Any other thoughts, council? You want to bring it back, Counselor Nelson?
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor, so I don't recall exactly what it says, but even if there's a way to, if it was directing administration to update it to reflect X, Y, and Z rather than amended, because if it's amended, then to me, we should be approving what's that. So either I think it needs to come back, or if there's a way that we can direct administration more broadly to update it. But I'm just procedurally, I'm kind of a little bit stuck on it. Like I fully support the concept. I just, without going through line by line and amending it, I don't know what we're amending it to. So with that, I would be against it, but not because I'm against the motion at all. I totally support it. I just
Understood.
thank you.
Counselor Chambers.
I'll take a crack at tying this up. If I was to amend my motion to state where we would specifically replace the word, every reference to non-locum to the word community, would that be to everyone's satisfaction? Then it wouldn't be as the top whereas is you take non-locum out, the community is already there. But that would then get that word out consistently. We keep our language consistent for every bullet versus bringing it back a second time.
Are you comfortable capturing that, administration?
Yeah, through the mayor. So so I believe that the motion that you'd be looking for is that council direct administration to make the amendment of replacing non-locum physicians to
Community physician.
community-based physicians.
Counselor Dunn.
I just think also like the underneath where it's blue highlighted, it has non-locum family physicians. So just as long as it's got community-based physicians everywhere. So the family would have to be revised as well in that particular one.
Counselor McLean. Most debated event.
Yeah. I understand what we're trying to do here. We're trying to move this along. But at that being said, we're Counselor Dunn just brought in another scenario or another line that we're looking at that's not highlighted, or I'd like to see it come back, right? I'd like council or administration take it away and bring it back as with all the suggested amendments and then move forward. That's just where I'm at right now.
Right, we have a motion on the floor, however. Let's just vote it and deal with it. Can we see it, please, Jen?
Do you want Counselor Chambers' original motion?
Yes. Which is the one we're dealing with right now. Oh, it's not coming up for me. Counselor Chambers.
Is it that one or is it the one with the changing of that word, or does it even matter?
Well, I'm not gonna speak in favor because I want to see it come back too. So whatever the motion is,
Let's just vote on
I'm
this one.
voting against it. Yeah, let's just
get this.
let's just get it done.
I'm happy.
This was the original motion that was on the floor, so yeah, well,
Okay. And it's not coming up for me, so I'm voting against. Go ahead and vote if it's up. Okay, and that is defeated. Thank you, council. My good God. So what do you want to do now, ladies and gentlemen? Counselor McLean, give me the option. Counselor McLean.
I'd like to move that we instruct administration to bring the resolution back to regular council, next regular council meeting as amended.
Okay. Oof, there we go. Please. Counselor McLean, go ahead.
Yeah, and with the clarification that with the suggested amendments and that we I forgot my train of thought. That's bad. Yeah, with council, with administration, with those recommended amendments involved.
So. Counselor McLean.
Yeah, and that we do the parallel search for a seconder at the same time, that we continue along that road.
Counselor Nelson.
From what I understand this motion to be, it would be the thing that came up with the blue writing on it. Because that was the amended one that was brought up. Are we? And so my fear is that it's gonna come back to us exactly with what we struggled with a few minutes ago. So if the intent is to update the resolution to reflect changes to community physician rather than non-locum, I would support that. But as it stands right now, it's going to come back to us, I think, with that blue lined one that was presented. And so I wouldn't support it because it's just going to come back to where we were at a few minutes ago. Thank you.
Well, I think the intent is that it's going to be what you said to amend the whole document. Is that the instruction you're taking, administration?
Yeah, through the mayor, it'll be a it'll be a clean amended document that comes back.
Does that work, Counselor Nelson? Counselor Nelson?
Yeah, with that in mind, I think the direction should be that council direct administration to amend the document, not approve it as amended. Because there's no as amended to
Yeah,
vote
yeah.
on, so thank you.
Rather than where it says to bring, say to amend. Yeah, and then take it off the end there, yeah. That was some skookum wordsmithing. Thank you, everyone. Now do we love the motion? Counselor McLean, you're patiently waiting.
Yeah, I want to thank Councillor Nelson pointing that out. That was the intent of the motion moving forward.
All right. With that, I think we've talked it to death. And so I call the question of council direct administration to amend the Alberta Muni's resolution balancing incentives between locum and non-locum physicians to support family practice back to a regular council meeting. And with that, please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Woohoo! All right. And then the next one is the Alberta Municipalities Resolution to Second Administration.
Thank you, Mayor, through to the rest of council. So we have been approached by the city of Airdrie, who is intending to put an Alberta Municipalities resolution forward as well, and they are seeking a seconder. So this one is available for council for a decision on whether we want to be that seconder for the city of Airdrie. The Airdrie's resolution is really based on a building advocating to the government to build a structure that when the provincial government experiences a budget surplus, that a percentage of that surplus would be allocated towards municipal projects through an application-based program or grant. That's at a very high level, but if there's any questions related to this resolution, I'll be happy to answer.
Council. I must say that I had initially some reservations as it relates to this. The Alberta Heritage Trust Fund was supposed to be a collection of surpluses that we were setting aside for our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren, I guess, but pretty much blown most of it on ourselves. And here's another effort to figure out a way to chisel a little more of it out for ourselves. And but the need for infrastructure is so great. I don't know how else it gets addressed. So I guess, I mean, I would begrudgingly support the initiative of Airdrie. Councillor Nelson.
Yeah, I'll make the motion and I'll speak to it. So I'd like to move that council second the city of Airdrie's Alberta Municipalities Resolution Budget Surplus and Municipal Infrastructure Investment for the 2026 convention. And I think this is about the future generations. If a place like the town of Hinton can't afford to build a new water treatment facility, then the town of Hinton no longer has the ability to attract and retain the next 2, 3, 4 generations. I think it gets very easy to spend money on pretty things when you have lots of money. And what I've seen is a lot of grants and things are being created when money is good, and a lot of those are coming at the expense of the core services that municipalities need to offer. And if there can be some sort of a formula that says, hey, if there's an extra $5 billion around and this percentage of it goes to municipal infrastructure, and part of that application process is, you know, what what maintains viability first, not comfort, not growth, not just viability, I think is a good conversation to start. I doubt it goes anywhere ultimately because I don't believe that the province is going to want it's no different. They increase the tourism levy by 2% and it goes to general revenues because they want to decide where that money goes, which is why they're elected, and I have no issue with it. But if there was a formula that can help maintain communities' viabilities province-wide, I think that's a really, really beneficial conversation to start. So thank you.
Councillor Chambers.
Thank you. Through the mayor, much like you, I really struggled with it in the beginning, but then it just kind of makes me curious as to just, I think, starting those conversations. I think every municipality has so much aging infrastructure. Everybody that built everything in the 80s is sitting in the same position, with their different infrastructure and their buildings, et cetera. So I tend to agree with Councillor Nelson. I don't know that it's going to go anywhere, but I think it's a pretty neat conversation to start talking about. And I certainly don't think there's any harm in us supporting something like this. So I would support the motion on the table.
All right. Seeing no one else in queue, then I call to question the council second the City of Airdrie's Alberta Municipalities Resolution, Budget Surplus, and Municipal Infrastructure Investment for the 2026 convention. Please vote. And that's passed unanimously. Thank you, council. Next item on our list is notice of motion. Ms. Davy Campbell, anything on the list?
No, there's nothing.
Thank you. And then Councillor Nelson.
So I have my light on a couple agenda items ago, and I just wanted to ask a question around special meetings and how much of a lift that is for councillor administration and the Alberta municipalities resolution that we're amending. There could have been an option to bring it to a special meeting next week that coincides with our standing committee meeting, so there wouldn't be additional expenses, but it would be new to most of this group. I'm just curious, how much of a lift is it to call a special meeting that coincides with the standing committee meeting if we needed to deal with something like the municipalities resolution more promptly?
Through the mayor, members of council, typically we will call special meetings in conjunction with maybe a committee of the whole meeting just to get some of the official business off the list. But really, it's really not that big of a deal. Really, it's advertising requirements that we have to comply with to make sure that everybody knows that the meeting is happening, where the meeting is happening, and then we have to make sure that we comply with the timelines, which I believe is 24 hours. So, yeah.
Typically, I just wanted to kind of share that feedback with members of council. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Well, now my list is clean, so we'll move on to reporting. And we'll maybe start with Councillor Dunn.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a few comments about Councillor McDonald. I had not met Bill actually before we were on town council together. And we had spent some time at the FCSS conference shortly after we were part of town council. So I got to know Bill on a little bit of a different level there. Just you have an opportunity to sit and talk a little bit. And one thing that I noticed with Bill, both from there and just meetings afterwards, is how much he appreciated being on town council. And I think more than anybody, really, he really did appreciate being on town council, want to see lots of his ideas come to fruition. And it's unfortunate that he won't, but I'm glad that I met him and got to spend the time that I did. Thank you.
Councillor McLean.
Yeah. Serving on council with Bill was probably the furthest thing from our mind when we were sitting out in Wild Horse Campground, having a beer, listening to loud music, and then being asked to leave for making too much noise. Our friendship grew over the years, mainly because Bill's Cozy Corner shop was down 2 doors from our office. So every now and again, I would tell the office administrator, I'm going down, talk to Bill, find out what's going on in town. I said, I'll be back in a few minutes. She said, see you in a couple hours. I would especially go when I see councillors, mayor, MLAs, MPs drop by to see Bill in the Cozy Corner shop. A lot of people don't realize the amount of people that dropped in looking for Bill's opinion, ideas, and sometimes ask him not to say what he was saying online. Bill never stopped, right? Bill loved this town, right? One of the things that he enjoyed best is making sure kids had a place to play, be it on the soccer field, be it in the rink, whatever special event, Bill was there. He would make ice, line the fields, just donate his time at special events, keep time at games. We would, when I would walk into Bill's shop, Bill would say, McLean, guess what they're doing now? And I'd say, who and what? And he'd go on to explain, we'd have a conversation, we'd agree, disagree, and then 2 hours later, I'd say, I gotta go, Bill. But I'd be totally informed on what was going on in town of Hinton. I just want to say that it was an honor to just have these few months with Bill. And, you know, he pushed. We would go back and forth. I'd say, Bill, you need to run. He'd say, no, Don, you need to run. Finally, we agreed that, okay, if one guy decided to go, the other guy would too. Right? So then that one March day, I walked in and he said, guess what? I got my papers. And I said, oh. So I went and got mine. I filed, Bill filed, and we were both successful. Serving on council with Bill was truly a joy. I just want to say, rest in peace, good buddy. I'll miss you.
Councillor Charlton.
That's a tough one to follow. I would say, when I think of Bill, I think of the word advocacy, because he was always the person that wanted to advocate on behalf of whatever he felt there was a need for. He was a true advocate for small business, had a special place in his heart for the Valley business community. The youth in our community. He was just a true gem.
Take it away, Councillor Chambers.
Should ask to go first. Bill impacted my life very deeply, first in a very negative way, and in the later years in a very positive way. And I'd certainly call him one of my closest and one of my best friends for sure. Bill had a way that he could turn a small thing into something that was a big racket and got a little obnoxious. And I was really hoping to see him do that in the favor of council. He wanted to bring, through our friendship and through my time running last term, we spent a lot of time where I would be educating Bill on why he shouldn't be saying this online, or what the actual rules are, or what the MGA was. And he really wanted to bring that information to the public so the public understood better, so that we could break things down into layman's terms We have the Hinton highlights now because Bill wanted a newsletter. To make sure everyone signs up for that. And there's so many conversations he wanted to be a part of, and like everyone else has said about the kids in the rec center, but the amount of pride that man had in Hinton, and I think that was the biggest thing that shifted my opinion of Bill when we became friends, was I recognized really early on that he had so much desire to be involved and to do the right thing in the community, but he just wasn't using the right lens. He wanted to be involved, but wasn't quite sure how to pull it off. And when he decided to really get involved in the more meaningful way, it was very evident that he'd made the right choice. He deserved a seat up here with us. I'm glad we got the time we did, because I do believe that his legacy and those conversations we all got to have at our different conferences. He made some friends in other communities. On that first conference we had, he was up at the bar having a drink with them after the sessions, as you would expect. And I think that we'll all look at things a little bit differently. We'll all consider Bill as we go through this term and any future terms ahead. And I just think it's a real blessing to have somebody like him come in and shake us all up a little bit. And I will miss him very desperately.
Councillor Nelson.
Thank you. Yeah, Natalie saying advocacy, that when I met Bill, it might have been a different one of those sorts of words that starts with an A. Bill and I spent the better part of 4 years, whether online, at the shop, anywhere else, through other people who are just battling. He loved to say a lot of things with not a lot of attention to like facts or information. And the funny part is we'd battle and then we'd go and we'd sit and have a beer. We'd sit and shoot the shit at the shop. And I've never met somebody that I can disagree with so vehemently, so often, and enjoy being around so much. So I literally had 4 years of that, and it was I've never experienced anything like it. And in talking to people over the last week, there's a lot of people kind of share that feeling. After that, you know, in those 4 years, there's a lot of he would call and he would say, "Hey, I'm reading this. Is this correct?" And I'd say, "No." And he'd say, "Oh, I'm posting it anyways." I'm still like, he had fun, you know, forcing people to refute him, forcing people. And, you know, I played along most of the time. And then for the next 4 years, he would call me and would say, "Hey, this is what I'm reading. Is my opinion correct or incorrect?" And I'd say, "Well, it's way off." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it a little bit different." And so seeing the first 4 years of like, I don't care if the information is right, to saying I want more people engaged, and I'm still going to put my Bill lens on it and the narrative around it, but I'm going to make sure that it's actually factually pretty damn close. And then seeing that translate into having a seat beside me of all people with the random draw is such a testament to him. I think it's a testament of when he ran, there's a lot of people that were very critical of Bill, but I think when people took a bit of time to kind of learn, they saw that progression. And I think it's just an incredible thing for anybody to look at, and you know, from being the community clown a decade ago to getting a seat at this table and doing a great job at this table is it's super cool. And you know, he hasn't been at this seat much this year, and it's been pretty lonely out here. But I've had so much. I was gonna just tell jokes and laugh because I think that's what Bill wants. But just so proud of him. So proud of our council for embracing him. So proud of everybody that encouraged him to run. It's important, and you know, seeing where he came from to now is super cool. So thank you.
I've already been through my train wreck. So administration.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that on behalf of myself and all of administration, or just pass along my condolences to Bill's family, and it is a loss, and to the rest of the town of Hinton. Much like Councillor Dunn, I'm relatively new to town. I didn't know Bill. But I certainly, as soon as I came here, I knew of Bill, and his reputation preceded himself. And I can tell you that when he ran, what I expected and, what I saw was completely different. Bill was certainly a man with a great sense of humor and a love for Hinton that was very infectious. And it is a big loss for council, and it is a big loss for the community. And, it's a sad time for us, but I just appreciated the time that Bill did provide to the town in service.
Thanks, everyone. And we can get back to other reporting next meeting. I just thought that was an important thing to do. So with that, we have one more thing we need to get to tonight. Councillor Nelson,
I'll move that we adjourn.
thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor, I think. There we go. Please vote. And we're adjourned at 5:16. Thank you.